when you build up momentum in Australia because you know how to cold call these people, but then when you get to the UK, they want to speak in a completely different way. So that's been a massive learning as well. SEO is like owning a piece of real estate, right? So when you buy a piece of real estate, you have to think about this, that you don't just buy a house and then sell it the next day without doing anything to it.
Awesome, Dean, man. Thank you so much for having me on the pod, man. Initially, you were actually the person to invite me on the podcast, but I've been contemplating and thinking what's the best way to do it. And I always love to do like something that is of very high quality, and I didn't want to kind of do something over Zoom, as we're living close by together. Yes. And it's a pleasure to having you here, man.
Thank you so much for having me, man. As always, it's lovely house, lovely environment, and this is a perfect place for the podcast.
Amazing, man. And it's just also such an inspiring story that you've gone through as a digital marketer yourself. Could you tell me about like how you got started in digital marketing? Because you've been dabbling in a few things, and then you tell me about it.
Do you want the full story, or do you want a shortened version?
The moment, kind of like after high school, I remember you started like doing DJ and stuff like that, like playing music.
Yeah, man.
From that moment.
I guess it all started in high school, where really I didn't really want to work like a full-time job, right? I didn't want to have a part-time job when I was at school. And the easiest way for me to sort of make some money at school was through actually, through doing something that I like, which was DJing. And at the time, I was about 17 and I was DJing all my friends' parties. And I remember my first gig, I got $50 for my first gig. And that was my first entrance into business. And sort of from there, man, basically, I sort of asked my dad, well, how do I get more clients? And he said, all he had to say was ask your mates, and that was basically it. And after the problem happened was that, after high school, basically all my friends had their 18s, and then the next thing was their 21st. And in between that time, I had no way of acquiring new clients. And that's where the problem started, and that was my first sort of entry into marketing, if you like. And from there, I also, whilst when I finished high school, I sort of had a few jobs that I got fired at all of them, which was Subway, Pancake Parlor. And I was actually working at Baker's Delight, and I got fired from all of them. And I realized that at that time as well that, I don't think I was suited, long-term working for another company. I always had to always have my own business along the way. And my real sort of entry into marketing was that I got a cold call from a marketing agency here in St. Kilda. And basically what happened, the guy cold called me, and I was 18 at the time, and he's basically said to me on the phone that he could build me a website, he could get me on the first page of Google, and he'd solve all my problems from, being able to generate inquiries, right? And I believed him. So I was 18 at the time. We met at Doncaster Shopping Town, and cut a long story short, man, he signed me up on the deal on the day. We signed the papers, and 3 months later, the company that still exists today didn't deliver on anything. So I said,
what was the retainer?
It was about 800 plus GST per month. 18 years old. That was a lot of money at the time.
It must work, right? Like that's what you kind of thought by yourself, right? If this doesn't work, like I'm screwed pretty much. Yeah.
Well, that was it, man. And basically, the big problem was that I sort of had in my head that if these guys are scamming 18-year-olds like me and getting them on $800 retainers for 6 months, then it must be easy. And I was quite arrogant at the time. And I said, dude, I can figure this out myself. And then that's where I started to spiral into YouTube videos, how to do SEO. And I met some people along the way, which I was very fortunate to do, to meet some people that mentored me along the way. But cut a long story short, man, I ended up working for some of the biggest marketing agencies in Australia. And then I'm here today, man.
Amazing. And what I'm like what you've done incredibly well is you've gone from the problem that you experienced yourself.
Yeah.
You had the problem of client acquisition. You learned the skills through that same process as well, of trying to rank yourself, trying to get clients.
Yes.
learning the skills, applying it, and eventually working yourself up to the head of SEO at one of the top agencies here in Australia, which is phenomenal.
That was pretty crazy, man. Look, it was just a lucky, I sort of lived my life to be honest, man. I never really aimed for that. I just got there just by chance, and it was just a lucky call. I was on the way out from another company, and then I had actually had no plans after working for that previous company, and then Megaphone actually gave me a call, and it was just a coincidence that it was the right time, and it was a very good opportunity. It was short lived, but it was quite beneficial at the same time.
Yeah, awesome, man. I remember us talking about like kind of still entrepreneurship, and you were kind of dabbling in e-commerce.
Yeah.
You're still being head of SEO, and at the same time, you also want to kind of starting your own agency and signing clients and building that up. And you decided to leave that huge opportunity that you've been working for many years towards.
Yeah.
With a very young child, your beautiful daughter as well, and your wife at home, and you still decided to take that leap of faith and go all in on yourself.
Yeah. And I think the reason for that is what this podcast is for freedom.
Exactly.
And that's the whole reason, man. And, it was a great opportunity, and there was a lot of risks involved in me leaving, having a young family, another little one on the way in the next few months. I was contemplating at the time, like, should I do this, or should I stay in a safe job? And that was the reason why.
Amazing. And what I found, it's like, I don't believe that coincidences exist. It's always like the universe always either connects you with the right people at the right time, or there's like certain opportunity that comes up. And it's just like, you're like, wow, like a mind-blowing experience. And that's what you've gone through as well. Like you've only like started like 2-3 months ago. Today alone, you've already signed 2 new clients.
Thank you so much, man.
But throughout the journey as well, like you've grown to like multi-6-figure agency already, like in a very short time span.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's really like that the momentum has been, you built that momentum in a very short time span. Could you describe like those last like 2-3 months for yourself? Like how did this been?
Look, man, I think I have a lot of energy. I have a lot of energy, and I think, every job that I've worked, whether it be the last job that I worked for, whether it be, when we were both at King Kong, I've always had this energy and always wanting to do things my way or a different way, or just a way that I feel is best. And that's what sort of keeps me going. And the thing is, it doesn't feel like work. Because I'm working for myself, I lose track of time. Sometimes I'll start at 7 and I'll finish at 8, but it doesn't really feel like I'm working, and the last 3 months have basically been me on the phone from 7 till 6 p.m. on most days, and just trying to sign up new clients and get new opportunities. And it's been really fulfilling, man.
You're starting in New Zealand, right? You're starting dialing New Zealand.
Yeah.
Then Australia, Perth, and then in the evening you do UK because of the opposite time zone.
Man. Yeah, so exactly.
Covering the world, covering all the time zones in the world.
Well, yeah, and it's been interesting trying to tap into the UK as well, because it's just a different. Even though we're both sort of quite similar countries, it's a very different way that these people want to speak, especially when you're cold calling. I'm basically in the last 3 months, I've been basically making 100 cold calls a day, and then, so when you build up momentum in Australia, because how to cold call these people, but then when you get to the UK, they want to speak in a completely different way. So that's been a massive learning as well.
How has working so many hours impacted kind of like your family life? And you got a young daughter, which again, what I found when I saw Dean's daughter the first time, Dean and his daughter, they both have like that beautiful gray pluck on their hair, on your head. And I found it so special, because like, what are the chances of that kind of like even happening?
Crazy. Yeah.
And now obviously you're trying to provide for your family, for your wife, for your daughter, working that many hours. Could you describe like kind of the family dynamic and how that is working right now?
To be honest, man, like, since I've left a full-time job, it's become a lot easier, because I can balance things now. Before I was, getting up early, trying to do a little bit of extra work on different businesses that I had, and then going to my full-time job, and then coming home and doing extra, and the balance was off, and it's just I've just been so lucky that, this opportunity has happened and things are just falling in place. It's the universe, right? That now I can, some days I might do a full day. Some days I'll just chill and hang out with my daughter, and it's the best thing. And that was the main reason why I that I started my own business, because that when I had, Isla, I looked at how fast she's growing every 3, 6, 12 months. And it just went from this size to this size, and it's all happening very quickly. And you start to realize, man, that, time goes very quick. And especially by having a daughter, you start to realize that you get more, I guess, your perception of time changes because you can see time now. You can really see time, time go in her size, right? She's growing from there to there. And yeah, man, basically, it's given me that freedom to do what I want, to do it how I want, when I want, and be able to balance personal life, family life, which is the biggest priority for me, and then also still get those benefits of having income and
Yeah, it's super flexible, especially with what we do, which is like digital marketing agency. You can work from wherever you want, from any country, any place. You can give me a laptop on the moon. Like I can still, there's a Wi-Fi connection, I'll be able to make it happen. And that's something I'm so resonating with, and something that I'm so passionate about and believe so firmly about. Like the internet is such a huge opportunity for billions of people, and that's what we're trying to promote as well on this podcast, is the opportunity that there is. Dean and his family, they're all at home. Yes, you're working very hard, but at the same time you have those moments with your daughter throughout the day. You can go to the park, you can go to the beach as well. Like you can fill those times up with very valuable moments, right?
100%, yeah.
And for me personally, what I always felt is like, I got a lot of experience through working for other people, but for me, freedom really means is that I can wake up whenever my body's ready.
Yeah.
And till this day, maybe I got like some trauma from working, and like, especially back home in the Netherlands, you have to be on time.
Yeah.
That's like in our culture, it's like you must be on time. You have to catch a train. You have to like be at 8 a.m. in the school, and always that setting that alarm for me creates like a lot of anxiety. Even to this day, I set alarm, like I'm very anxious the next day.
That rush.
And like that lifestyle. You wake up, you have to quickly eat breakfast, go to the train, do something, and then work somewhere. And then what happens with a lot of families, and that's something I want to talk with you about, is like, let's say your wife and yourself were still fully employed, and you would be working somewhere. Like, what would that mean to kind of like your daughter as well? Because like the whole family unit is like somewhere, right? Like your wife is somewhere, you're somewhere, and your daughter at 3 or 4 years old, I believe in Australia, they have to go to the kindergarten. So the whole family unit is separated. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, man, just before I answer that, I just want to say that since it's only been 2 or 3 months, and I've honestly become a different person. Like I'll be honest with you, like when I was working a full-time job, all the different full-time jobs that I've worked, I've always been a little bit, I don't know what the word is, maybe it's agitated, because I sort of always felt like there was a little bit more, and I would come home and I'd be a little bit agitated, thinking that how am I going to get ahead? How am I going to get to that freedom point? And that's where it really starts. And this sort of goes to your question. You're bringing that home from a full-time job. You're working in a place where it doesn't matter what company, whether it's a good company or a bad company, but things happen at work and you're sort of stuck in that environment, and there's only so much you can do to control the outcomes, and you start to get frustrated. And then you're bringing that home and you're sort of thinking about it, and then you've got to rinse and repeat. So firstly, sort of, bringing that home is one thing. And then you have to sort of think about, okay, if 3 people or 2 people, myself and
everyone's bringing
that home. you know, and then that goes back to what you were saying. And then your daughter's there, and you might have 2 kids, you might have 3 kids. And then to be honest with you, man, and I don't say this in a negative way, I sort of think about when I was growing up, my parents were always a little bit agitated. You know, I remember my mum coming home from work, and she's always, you know, I was playing with the camera, and she was always like, Dean, put that camera down. You know, but then I thought, is it something that I did wrong? But I remember that my parents would go to work full time, and they'd probably come home and they're tired, and that's what I didn't want for my kids. You know, I wanted to always show them that no matter what, I've got more time in the world for them than anything else, and I can make this work.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man, and it's really like the internet that we're so lucky, really. Like, I'm so grateful to be able to even do this kind of career path that I'm doing right now, that you're doing right 100%. Now. It's all thanks to the internet. Like, my grandparents, they were working in kind of like in huge factories. Yes. Where they were developing like military equipment for the Soviet Union, right? Different types of equipment. And even my grandma to this day, if you ask like, hey grandma, what have you worked in, on which parts or something, like it had to be kept secret, of course. And she still, till this day, she doesn't say anything. Yeah, it's a pretty, so
old school. Yeah.
It's very old school, and back then, this is like 2-3 generations before, the only opportunity is you get an engineering degree or any degree, you go work in a factory or in a business, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. And for my parents, even the same thing. I'm sure for your 100%. Parents as well. They have been trying, and they've been doing their best to the extent that they had the opportunities, right? Yeah. And that's why I feel like just the fact that we can do this online and from any point in the world with like, just give us Wi-Fi and we'll be able to make it work. Yeah. It's just insane.
But at the same time, man, I will say that, I don't know how to put this, but because it's so easy, if you like, for some people, it's become more difficult because there's other distractions that are there now. You know, yes, we can access the internet and open a laptop and work from anywhere, but at the same time, you can open a laptop and start playing games. You can start watching Netflix. You can, so I think it takes. What I've started to realize is that, and just through interacting in different workplaces and meeting different people, it takes a certain personality. It takes a certain, I guess, person to want to go through this struggle, because it is initially blood, sweat, and tears, and a struggle to get to that freedom point. You know, it really is, right?
And even this is the thing about the business as well. I don't want just internet, like make money online is so easy and it's like so crazy. I do think it's like brutally competitive. First of all, like it's very competitive. You have to be on top of your game in order to not only deliver results for yourself, pulling in clients, but you also have to deliver results for your clients 100%. In order for them to stay. Yeah. That's the difficult part about the business model as well we're in. It's not just about signing someone. You must provide results month after month. You know, provide very valuable value.
We talk about value pretty much. Coz and I talk about value every day. You know, and the thing, I don't know if you realize this, but I'm always thinking about, okay, every day, whether it's just a friend or whether it's a client or whether it's your family, how can you provide value? You know, and that's the most important thing here.
The morning value.
The morning value. And that's why I send Coz a message every morning, even on a weekend sometimes, right? They say, hey, here's some value, man. You know, I don't need anything from it. And what I think...
Like this pod as well, man, just like for your branding as well. Imagine what it will do for your branding, man.
You know, and I sent him a message, and the point is, right, like, you know, we're holding each other accountable, remembering that we're in this together, but, you know, for the clients that we have, and for clients that we don't have, sometimes it's just about, you know, just giving people value, you know?
Yeah, first give, then take. That's really the concept that the world really operates on.
Yeah, and you might not always receive back, and that's not what it's about, you know. And I think also, you know, talking about, you know, getting to that point of freedom. One of our old bosses used to talk about having an abundance mindset. And I think that's very, very important. And that's something that ever since I learned about having an abundance mindset, knowing that there's always enough to go around, as soon as you start thinking that there's not enough and you start chasing money or chasing something for your own personal gain, that's when, opportunities and money start running so far away that you just can't catch it. And then when you start realizing, hey, that if you just, even if you have nothing to give and just try and give something anyway, people recognize that. People appreciate that. For example, helping someone, they might know someone to refer you, so there's just...
Even connecting people in itself is very valuable. Like I've had connecting clients with each other. Hey, maybe you, like they're at similar level in revenue. Hey, maybe you guys can share some ideas.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff, just kind of friends, family, dropped like a Facebook ads course on my channel. I thought of like, oh, that's pretty cool. Because I've learned everything initially from YouTube.
Yeah.
And I feel for myself now, it's like, okay, how can I help sort of like the younger version of myself, like that person looking through YouTube, trying to find answers. It's amazing. And I hope you found this conversation very valuable this far, because it's usually what I kind of like envisioned as well. I had sometimes really deep conversations with friends and family, and I always wish that I recorded them.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes it's like, it's like you get that, you're like on the same frequency, and then and then it's like amazing, and then and then it goes, and then not
100%, man. And I think on top of giving value, I think the biggest thing that I've also learned in my in my journey, and especially recently, man, is connecting people. I got connected through a friend to Cos, and then I connected Cos with one of my friends, and then it's just a bouncing effect. And also Cos and I have been working on particular things together, and he'll do one thing, and then I take it and he shows me, and it's like, okay, I've just learned this thing, and then I've just made it better, and then we just keep on bouncing. And that's how sometimes you might not always receive a benefit, or you might receive a benefit, but just always remember that I think on your journey to freedom is also, it's about getting yourself to a place where you're free, but then also at the same time helping others get there as well.
Amazing, man. And I want to go back into sort of like the delivery and the client aspects. I mean, you're one of the top SEO experts out there.
Yes.
When it comes down to, I've been in digital for many years now, and there's like so many different branches and so many different kind of like areas where you can become an expert at. SEO in particularly means search engine optimization, and helps businesses rank on page 1 when someone types in a keyword. The business comes and shows up. Very valuable, especially for local service-based businesses. Could you, like for an kind of like average business owner or an aspiring business owner, could you explain like how how can you actually rank someone with a campaign? Because it's actually a pretty complex topic.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'd like to start by saying that I've been very fortunate. I guess I've been doing SEO probably for 10 years unofficially, but I would say it more officially. When I say unofficially, I probably started learning about it 10 years ago and building my first website and ranking it all off that bad experience that I mentioned at the start of this video. But most importantly, I've been very blessed to have opportunities where I've worked with, I'd probably say hundreds of small businesses, but I've also worked on, I've worked on campaigns like the universities of Australia. I don't know, there's only a few SEOs that have had that opportunity and seen SEO from a local level, but have seen SEO in companies generating, as hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars per year. So what I can say is if you're a local business or an e-commerce brand, or if you're a larger business, you have to ask yourself the question, like, do you even need to rank on the first page of Google? Why are you looking at this channel as an opportunity? And that's where some businesses will go wrong. Okay, so if you think about an e-commerce brand, right? Most e-commerce brands that I've worked with, they want to see very clearly like what they put in. Okay, we've just put $5 into Google Ads. Okay, we want $10 back. Now, if the problem is with SEO is sometimes it's not that clear. So you've got to ask yourself, what sort of what sort of a company are you? Are you service based or are you e-commerce? And what's your objection of SEO? Now, SEO is like owning a piece of real estate, right? So when you buy a piece of real estate, you have to think about this, that you don't just buy a house and then sell it the next day without doing anything to it. You know, a lot of people flip houses. They buy a house, they gut it out.
You need to build it up, maintenance, making sure that another house doesn't like build on top of your place, where it's just like maintaining the rankings.
So what I'm trying to say is SEO takes a long time, just like a piece of real estate, right? You buy a piece of real estate, you hold it for 10 years and you sell it. And you might take a house, you might buy the house at 100K and then sell it for $1 million, right? As an example. So the thing is with SEO is you've got to really ask yourself the question, the business that you're running, if you're an e-commerce brand, is this business going to be running for the next 3 to 5 years? Okay, if the answer is yes, then SEO would be really beneficial for you. If you're a local business, are you heading towards your retirement? Have you been doing this for 20, 30 years and now you're heading towards your retirement? Or are you just early on in the process, you've validated your service, and are you going to continue this business for the next 3 to 5 years? That's when you should really say, hey, SEO is for me. So that's the first thing. The second thing, before jumping into SEO, it's really, really important that you actually validate that it works. And we do that by running a Google search campaign. Now, I really recommend for businesses that if you're not running a Google search campaign or you've never run it before and you're thinking about SEO, don't do it. Run a Google search campaign first, test that it's going to generate you leads, and then know that Google's going to work for you, and then start investing in an SEO campaign. So now that we know that SEO is right for us, that's when only you should even figure out
even validate the keywords that you're trying to rank. Drop some money on Google Ads and try to just get the ads up on live targeting those specific keywords.
Yes.
If they work, you know for a fact that SEO is going to work as well.
Exactly.
Because I feel that's such a powerful message, because a lot of people and agencies these days they're just like pitching SEO as just like this magic pill that's going to solve all your business problems, but essentially it's going to give you more traffic, very high quality traffic from people that's searching exactly what you sell to your website. But it's I'm a firm believer paid ads is really is like our bread and butter as well. It's like you switch it on, boom, you get leads or sales straight away, and then if it works, you can start building that real estate
100%
through backlinks and blogs, right? To ranking.
We'll get into that. And I mean, as I was saying, cause the biggest thing you need to firstly figure out is, are you going to commit to the SEO process? Because after working on probably hundreds, if not at least 1,000 SEO campaigns, what I find with most business owners is they get fatigued. We've been doing the SEO for 6 months, we haven't seen the result. And they get fatigued because sometimes they don't know what the result is, right? Because they haven't run a Google Ads campaign to see what it will look like once they rank on the first page of Google. So get yourself in a mindset that, hey, this is going to take a long time. And don't expect any results for 6, 12, potentially 18 months. If you get them earlier, great, that's a win. But if not, expect that it's going to take a long time. So to really rank your website on the first page, it's broken up into 2. And the most important things, or you can break it up into 3. You can basically say you've got your technical SEO, which is the back end, so coding on your website. You've got your on-page SEO, which is more your content, so the actual content on the page. So that could be in the form of content that's on your collection pages or your landing pages or your service pages, followed by the content on the blog pages as well. And then you've also got your backlinks as well. So all 3 of these pillars need to be fulfilled from an SEO perspective. You need to have all the coding right on your website. You need to have, good content, whether you produce that with AI, it still needs to sound good and read good. And you need to have ongoing blogs on a monthly basis. And the backlinks are the most important. I've spent, on particular campaigns.
The backlink juice.
Yeah, I've been, I don't know any SEOs. Well, I know a few because I've worked with them, but there's not a lot of SEOs that have spent, who knows, like $10,000 to $20,000 on one SEO campaign. I was fortunate enough to do that through the universities, and you can really see the impact of backlinks when you've spent that sort of amount of money through backlinks.
And what a backlink basically is, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like a website referring your website on true blog on their site.
Correct.
So if a website, like a news website, got like news.com that I use, a popular one here being used, if there's a website of high authority, they put your blog on their website with a backlink to you or the business that you're working with. That tells Google like, hey, these guys are for real, they're important. Ranking goes up.
100%. So that's exactly what it is. And the thing is, there's different types of backlinks. So you've got to think about, if you got one mention, say if I'm just a regular person, let's say there were 1,000 versions of Cos. What would you rather, 1,000 versions of Cos or Kim Kardashian referring to me? What's the power?
Exactly. So the Kim Kardashian has a lot of authority, has a lot of power. If she recommends your business, it's, even if she puts like a post on her Reels or Instagram, it's going to blow up. And the same thing with websites.
Exactly. So what you're looking for is websites that have, and the way I really select backlinks is, a lot of people are mistaken here. They select backlinks on domain authority. There's other metrics that go along with that. There's domain authority, there's traffic. You need to make sure that the website has traffic. You need to make sure that the website looks good in terms of design. You need to make sure that all the topics on the website that you're going to get a backlink from relate to you. So if you're in marketing and you get a backlink from a gambling website, there's just not that much relation. So that's really, really important.
It has the relevance has to be there as well.
It needs to be, there's all these different factors, and that's where a lot of SEOs make mistakes, because they haven't been shown the right way. And that's therefore people currently working with some SEO agencies. I do analysis of this on a daily, that I'm still seeing, even today, these toxic backlinks going around.
Like toxic people in the relationships and in your life, when they come into your life, like they drain you. So do you have websites that are irrelevant? Yeah. An SEO agency says like, oh, we've ranked your website, we've done this amount of work, but the website is totally irrelevant to what it is that you do. 100%. Hence, whatever SEO you do, it's not going to be effective. Thus, you have to be very careful who you trust. Yeah. And, with all of your experience, like you're the man for the SEO. Yeah, man. If our business owners watching this, they have questions about SEO, Google Ads, where can they find you? Where can they grab a bit of value that we've been talking about? Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram. Just type in my name, Dean Gravina, and drop me a message there. You can check me out at resultsmedia.au. What can they do on the website? What can they do on the website? Well, click on the website, and you can actually book a consultation with me. And what I'll actually do for you, and I do this for all businesses, is I go through your holistic channel, right? So if you're running SEO, what's your offer? Do you have a landing page set up? How's your SEO looking holistically from the 3 pillars that I said? And I'll give you some pointers in terms of what you can actually be doing to increase your rankings and get more clients. Amazing, Dean. It was a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.